Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Airsoft podcast with the Headless Chicken Squad. I am the Don. Welcome to episode 8, and I'll be back after this short message. Okay, welcome back to episode 8, and as ever, we're joined by the very best of the Airsoft world. Each week, we bring you the very best in terms of guests, topics, and conversations. And today, I've been joined by, in my opinion, one of the OGs of the Airsoft world, owner of one of the most progressive and fast-paced sites, not only in the Northwest, but in the UK. I've been joined by Jon Evans, aka Jono, over at Outpost in Chester. Hello, Jono. How are you doing, bud?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, no, good, thanks. You okay?
Good. Yeah, good. Thanks for joining me. I know we've been trying to pull this together for the last 2 or 3 weeks. With we nearly had trouble tonight as well, just a few technical issues.
Yeah.
But we got there in the end. We got there. Yeah, I've been waiting to get you onto the show ever since we came up with the idea to have the podcast because I don't know if you kind of remember about halfway through last year we asked the airsoft community to come up with what they perceive to be the top 10 sites in the UK. You guys featured at 6, I believe. You were already on our rotor of sites. Obviously, you're probably about a 40-minute drive for me. I've also got a holiday home, not a million miles away from you as well. And I just wanted to get you on, obviously, just to kind of, we had Craig from Rednell a couple of weeks ago, and kind of look at airsoft from a site owner's point of view, because when you go around the sites and you speak to people, they moan about sites and they don't understand it from your point of view and different things like that. And trying to get an idea of what airsoft is like from your side of the fence, and then what's new to come from Outpost and kind of out from a different viewpoint, really. So why don't you introduce yourself? How long have you had Outpost for?
We've been down there for about 15 years now, so quite
15
a while.
years.
I think we did airsoft for 8 or 9, something like that.
Right,
we started off with just a couple of times a month, but since COVID, we've done 2 days a week. I don't think there's many sites in the country do that much. And at Easter holidays, I think we did 5 or 6 days straight over the Easter weekend.
Yeah.
That was a really, busy one. I think that's the most we've done back-to-back airsofts every day, for most of the week.
Brilliant. I mean, in terms of, you mentioned obviously you've been doing it for about 8 years. What's been the main change from when you started doing airsoft to kind of where you see it now? What's been the biggest change?
With us as a business or just with the industry?
Just to kind of give a bit of context on that, when I spoke to you, probably about 6 months ago, you mentioned that airsoft is now kind of 50-50 with paintball, whereas people go with kind of 70-30.
I'd say over the winter, it's definitely we've seen a big decline in paintball, but I think a lot of sites. We've got the paintball conference in Birmingham tomorrow. But out and chatting to people around the country, airsoft's definitely either increased in numbers, but paintball's definitely been declining, which is sad to see. When it's something we've grown up with. I guess it's just changes. So I'd say over the winter we've probably been 60-40, 70-30 even at some point. So definitely do a lot more.
Okay. So that's the question, really, just as a whole, not necessarily just the equipment or game, just kind of as a whole.
The last few years, it's been interesting to see the bigger, older. I mean, older than us even. The like paintball sites, some of the massive ones that have been going since the very dawn of paintball in the 90s, swapping over and being very successful in paintball, like the likes of Outpost, Great Chicken, MPF, and Bassett Paul. They've all been, singing its praises, which is good to see. They definitely bring something new for players, and nice to see Warzone in Coventry starting and changing from an older paintball site into a way progressive Warsoft site. But it's good for players, you guys want cool places to play. You want to see changes, you want to see new things. So it's good sites that'll do it.
Yeah, I've always been a big advocate to fast-paced. I love the short, snappy games at sort of at Outpost. I mean, when you're setting up the game arena, Airsoft at Outpost, are we getting just purely the offshoot of the sites that you're creating for paintball, or are you now thinking of gearing up the game zones more for Airsoft?
your rental paintball games are played in a much smaller area generally. It might take, say, two or three paintball games put together to give the size of a good airsoft game, if not more. So it's been more designing the game so they work for everything. Whether we've got little kids who win that paintball, which is like half a paintball field, up to a paintball field, and then airsoft 2 to 3. I say your airsoft fields play on a similar size as paintball on gunners, which we only do once a month, and that's something else that's still in staffing divided.
Yeah.
But it's along those sort of lines. It's just making it flow really, so that you can link it up and get a decent game.
Yeah.
We haven't got the sites where there's a couple of trees that half blown up that is standing all up at a distance. So, if you 6'2", it doesn't take that much to justify it away. And so, a lot together how I want to play.
Yeah. I think that's the interesting thing for you. You've got a mixture of man-made structures and some of the historical stuff. So obviously, you've got the compound structure. You've got obviously the bunker below Hamburger Hill, and obviously the generator, the room, obviously on the capture flag. I think that kind of gives a really nice balance between the clear time and effort you put in to make the man-made structures, but then obviously the historical stuff as well.
Yeah, we're lucky to have a few old roads, and this one has just been horrendous for sites. It's our worst nightmare. What, the wettest February in 286 years, I think it's supposed to be. It just doesn't seem to have stopped raining for like 6 months. So we're very thankful for those roads, and we've always been trying to put more towers go down over the window just so people can get around. But fingers crossed for the next few weeks it should warm and dry out everywhere, but I think that's been setting up and down country, especially if you would like in the games. There's not a lot you can do.
Oh, no, there isn't, and that's the thing. I mean, if you're going to be playing winter and spring airsoft, you've got to be looking at getting muddy and different things like that. And I know over the summer it's nice. It goes the other way because it gets too hot and it's unbearable. You're running around with tops off. The kit can get quite heavy. So
yeah,
they'll go both really.
We definitely get quite a few fair weather players. It's nice to see, even though it has been the worst winter I've known down there, that there's still been a good core of players still coming every week and slogging on, not bothered by getting a bit muddy, having to wear boots. We still do have people turning up in Converse trainers and Crocs to play in, but yes, you can't do common sense, can you?
No, that's the thing. Well, I think geographically, you're probably, from a common sense point of view, probably one of the more difficult ones, because obviously you're on that sort of Wirral, Liverpool border. You've got the Manchester lot, and then you're not too far away from Stokey, so you're not really helping yourself with the old common sense there.
We get a good mixture. I think we are in a good spot where we put people to travel again.
You got some good catchments.
Some people just aren't. I just don't think about preparing. I said that's the main issue. No. Even if we won, it is winter. They'll still turn up in a t-shirt.
I think that's probably the biggest thing. Do you find that between paintball and airsoft though, like kind of the guys in the so-called vets of airsoft come more prepared? I know I run around with jungle boots, with 2 different pairs and stuff.
I mean, that's another thing that we've sort of diversified as we do more airsoft. We try and carry, because everybody forgets something sometimes. I make sure we've got a selection of boots in every size, trousers, a few British trousers, or we even have dry socks, for emergencies for people, jackets, hoodies, all that kind of stuff. I think they're worth having in. Which I think it makes somebody's day a bit more pleasant when they have made mistakes. Then they've got the option. But it's mainly rental players that come unprepared. So some people don't think, even if you tell an organizer, what they need to bring, doesn't mean that filters through to everybody that's there. So just put on, support them as much as you can.
I mean, there is to make the full use of a full game day. There is so much stuff to pack and stuff. I know I put my hand up where you were talking there. Just don't know why, but I know. I think about 6 months ago, I turned up and I literally only packed cotton socks. I hadn't got any like proper boot socks, and you got some nice combat ones in. I still wear them today you hadn't had them, you've just been an uncomfortable day, and it's just one of those things you forget, left them on the radiator, and didn't have anywhere to go with them really. So, and I will say this: we go around. I think you probably got the best, well-stocked on-site shop that we've been to, from that, which is always quite good, and obviously the prices are quite competitive as well. So, props to you on that. But it kind of comes down from experience. One thing I wanted to kind of touch on, obviously, and I know I have spoken to you about, you governed about kind of like setting stuff together in terms of FPS limits and the kind of standard gameplay you put together. Is that stipulated to you by the insurance companies, or are you just governed by what is the kind of the ballistics laws in terms of FPS and stuff?
Right. So, Airsoft. Well, there's a sort of there hasn't been a governing body in Airsoft. It's been government guidelines. Some people say it's insurance stipulations or whatever. Paintball has got a long-established governing body. There's a guy called Ian who's been setting up something for Airsoft for the last couple of years.
In Lawrence, yeah.
And he's
We're members.
documentation. Is he up in Lincoln, I think?
He runs Lincolnshire Airsoft, yeah.
That's it, yeah. So, no, it's been good to see. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the last thing anybody wants is to ruin anyone's day, for anyone to get hurt. Business, doesn't want to have an accident at the end of the day. So it's a balance of fun versus, safety. I think above everything. But, as far as I'm aware, the S limits were sort of dictated around the same time that the car was brought in, but that's way before my time. So you definitely have to speak to somebody who's been in it longer than me. Guess that would be early Norse's time.
Yeah.
So way before we started, we kind of looked in and looked at what the best practice was playing in local sites, and then wider ones that if we've got more connected with other places. Won't be the method.
Okay, and this question's coming, so I've also touched on this one with you on site. HPA, it's one of the biggest things. You've obviously got a lot of experience of it, obviously from paintball and obviously the crossover, and you've probably seen we're massive advocates of it. I think, I mean,
it's the best way to play.
I mean,
I've got 2 HPA rifles. As long as you're sensible with it, there shouldn't be an issue. Obviously, you get the odd idiot. We caught a guy that wound the flag up and he's just got it off site and banned. It's just zero tolerance for that kind of thing. Nobody needs that, and the kind of person that's doing that is ruining it for. It's not just HPA, they're ruining Airsoft for everyone, and they shouldn't be played really. But if you do it sensibly, it shouldn't be hurting everyone. You should have nice range and a nice rifle that you can enjoy. And it shouldn't be that gets you to have lower FPS than it's the rifles. It's physics is physics. If they're measuring the same, then what's the issue?
They try and talk about that dual grip and stuff. I suppose the main advantage is a standard HPA engine, especially if the dwell setup, the hot-ups can generally pick up a heavier BB way more than, say, like a standard AEG can. So I think that's kind of part and parcel where they're worried for the dual grip. But that's not the power source. That's just.
If you're keeping an eye on the jewels as well, that's a very sensible thing to do. But I mean, even from if TVs are going in people's skin, you get really dark purple bruises and stuff. You've got issues. Why do people? Are they getting more range? Or are they just going out there to hurt people?
I think, in my experience, what I tend to find with that is if people are turning it up, they probably either haven't got those, especially the HPA. This is they probably haven't even got the 12 settings right, and the second thing is the hot's not set up properly. If you've got the standard out the box, even if you are dialed down to, I use 3.2, so I'm going to give you context. I use 3.2. I went to Anzo 4 weeks ago to help some of the young lads want to go, and I was having to use 255 FPS. So even with the Everton, I know, tell me about it. So even with Everton dialed in, I was still getting way over range than most people there. There's no need to sort of dial it up, but it's that speed of delivery was massively down. But it just kind of it just wrangles with you a little bit. I mean, the good thing is obviously you can dial it up and down to obtain the tweaks, but I just don't feel that it needs to be done. What's your thoughts? A lot of people talk about like torn locks and things like that on like a skirmish day. I know you guys don't necessarily do that. Do you feel that it's down to just trusting the player or not?
I think it's quite evident when you've got an issue.
Mhm.
We've discussed it. 99% of regs you can lock.
Yeah.
You soon know straight away if somebody has. It's a very, very rare issue that we've had it. If it
Mhm.
was more of an issue, we definitely start doing it. But thankfully,
Yeah.
it's very, very rare.
Mhm.
Thankfully, we're not a huge sprawl in sight where
Mhm.
people are wandering around unsupervised. Everything's quite close together,
Mhm.
and I think that does help manage it a little bit better. If
Yeah.
you've got an issue, you know about it a lot quicker.
Yeah. On the point in terms of supervisors and stuff like that, I think one thing I've noticed is a lot of your marshals, they are players as well. It's quite evident that they're all players, and they're also actually all very experienced when it comes to HPA. So
Yeah,
they kind of are aware of that in terms of being
yeah.
able to keep an eye out on it. But also, they act more like referees than marshals. You do go to some
That's that
sites
that
where
that
there's people
that
like
is what.
lampposts.
Yeah, we don't want people standing around with their hands in their pockets.
Hmm.
I call them refs. I think that's what we want. A marshal to me is somebody on the sidelines, standing there just watching what's going on. You want
Yeah.
interaction. We do try and
Hmm.
encourage it, and they do a great job of doing it. So
Hmm.
it's nice it's noticed.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, they're never going to please everybody. In the heat of the battle, everybody's always kind of got a thing. And I think because of the catch and terror we got, I have been on site a couple of times where you have had a few issues. And to be fair, the guys deal with it fairly swiftly. And to be fair, that lane is a long walk down when somebody's got to walk home, haven't they? And unfortunately, it meets the demands of the site. They've got to go. And
Yeah, yeah. It's
there isn't
rare.
a site
It's
in the
very
world that's
rare.
immune to issues. Yeah.
But I think some people are playing for the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
And if you see that, then they've got to go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in terms of where I want to go next, what's new for Outpost? I know you've got some changes going on at the moment. I haven't had a chance to play that mortar pit. I've seen the new bomb area in the middle of the CQB that you built.
Yeah, yeah. So
What's the
we always have a big push before June to get some new stuff in, because
yeah?
they're sort of flagship weekends for paintball and airsoft with the camping and stuff. So
Mhm.
we're redoing the old ammo huts where the ammunition storage huts were, into like
Mhm.
a little village.
Yeah.
So we're just pulling things in now, to start building with that. But again, we're waiting for a bit of drier weather. Um, we've got to top up the Marines fields and straighten that up.
Yeah.
What else have we got going on? And we'll be changing around the POW field into more of an airfield, putting all the planes on that field, giving it more of a airfield runway feel. That's the plan
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that one.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
Like that.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
good. For me, I think you've got a unique way of looking at it. You've got paintball. You also have speed soft. We did have a speed soft arena in that central area, and then obviously, do you feel that airsoft has the ability, not just CQB, speed soft, but as a normal to be able to do competitive games and things like that, or is it just best run as a skirmish? What's your honest
I
view on
mean,
it?
Speedsoft's brought a new element, and we've tried to support it,
Hmm.
but it is a very small minority of airsoft players, and it's very new. So
Hmm.
then trying to get them organised, even if they like getting together in a team, getting them to go and compete. Um, there's only, I think, maybe 10, 20 teams in the country,
Hmm.
whereas paintball's got a much smaller group of own gunners, but there's probably over 100 teams, if not more,
Hmm. Yeah.
and a centralised tournament that runs through the year and has been going for 30 odd years. So
Hmm.
I think where we see a lot of paintball own gunners hemorrhaging out of that hobby into airsoft, a lot of the competitive speed softers who want a proper game, against lots of other teams in divisions and stuff, are jumping on to play competitive paintball.
Yeah.
Um, Purely because there's just more events and it's more developed. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, well, that's not something I expected, a couple of years ago, but
Yeah.
Just seems to be the way it's going.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, who plays for us, I know, I know you know well, obviously from the site, is he's a massive advocate of when he used to play woodland sort of combat paintball. He feels there's an opportunity to migrate that into skirmish days of airsoft. Is that something as that transition moves over? That I mean, it's probably not going to be now because obviously airsoft's kind of got its historical. But do you see the opportunity there if it's managed properly?
Do you mean like a tournament airsoft format in the woods?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
obviously Craig at Red's also trying to do one, and it's got a little bit of restrictions to it. But
yeah, no, Craig's giving it a go. To see
Mhm.
at the it's whether the demand's there, isn't it? Really, it's a good
Yeah.
idea, and until somebody tries, you don't know. There's paintball tournaments started off in the woods,
Mhm.
and there's been a bit of a resurgence over the last 5-10 years that there are some woodsy events. Not as many as the speedball side of stuff,
Mhm.
and sub air, but they are there, and they are quite well attended. So it's worth a go. But again, then does that make it harder to referee for airsoft past until it's done? We'll have to see. When you're in
Yeah,
a
and that's
smaller
it.
tournament area, it's easy
Yeah.
for your refs to keep an eye on what's going on. As soon as you bring competition into something, then people are going to be more likely to cheat. You'd hope not, but
Mhm.
you know it's always in the background, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on that, and obviously, again, from your experience that you've got with paintball, what's the biggest difference trying to, other than the paint splatter, what's the biggest difference between trying to spot and referee a paintball game than an airsoft one? Is there a key difference?
Yeah, I mean the splatter's one thing. You've got more ammunition flying around in airsoft.
Mhm.
Uh, and the bigger hit means you're more likely to flinch in paintball.
Mhm.
It is a lot harder for people to hide getting a big thwack, or to genuinely not notice. It is less likely. When
Yeah.
you're wearing maybe one thin layer and like a playing top for paintball, whereas
Mhm.
airsoft, you could potentially have 3 or 4 layers on a helmet and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. So there's going to be some genuine, oh, we didn't feel that,
Mhm.
as well as some people, taking the pee. But
Yeah.
it's having it's finding the way through it, I guess.
Yeah. And if you got as a site owner, if you got any top tips that you give your refs, stroke marshals to kind of keep an eye out when you're training them, is there anything that's
Um,
like key
the,
nuggets?
I think it's uh, it's keeping a fine line, between fun, balancing, where you think people are being genuine, and but keeping some consistency and keeping the game going, and it's a
Hmm.
hard job for them, but I always encourage them, if they've got a problem, to not get drawn into conflict, to send a player in for us to deal with it in a sort of structured, professional way.
Yeah,
So it's worked for years in paintball, so why not do it for airsoft?
yeah. I think that's the main thing. The way that you deal with people in the field, especially in the heat at the moment, can sometimes be countered. It can go the other way, can't it, and cause a bit
Yeah,
of
you
an
don't
issue.
you don't want
Where
things escalating on field and ruining things for everyone else. If sometimes everybody needs to calm down, even if it's staff and players, and explain
Mhm.
what's happened logically and in a calm way, and then work out how you're going to go forwards. I think that's the best thing all around.
Yeah, definitely. I think same day we all get white line fever, so to speak, and when you chill out, and quite often somebody might walk off into the safe zone and go, "Look, mate, I'm sorry about that. I've reflected on it," or if somebody, I mean, if you do get an incident, have you ever had somebody kind of come to you in a safe zone and like apologise? I think I was bang out of the water in that
Oh God,
section. I
yeah, yeah.
apologise. So yeah.
I think that is a key thing in learning whether somebody's made a genuine mistake or if they are an absolute knob.
Hmm.
If they can't reflect on it, admit it. Since some people are complete, can't admit wrong in any way or discuss it, then should they be playing? That's
Yeah.
where you got to ask.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
I
for
think
everyone.
that's. Yeah, no, it's not. And I think, like I say, it does hurt, doesn't it? You get hit in the flesh a bit, or you get one right on the end of the
Yeah,
knuckle, or different
everyone's
things.
gonna,
You've got it.
F and Jeff quietly now and again, but it's just not escalating things, beyond all reason. It's not,
No.
um, it is a sports venue. You're there playing a game. You know, it is toy soldiers at the end of the day. You're supposed to be there having fun, and you've got to keep that at the forefront of your minds. Not
Yeah.
he's done this on purpose. You know, somebody might walk around the corner and hit you up close. They're just a knee-jerk reaction, but spin your dummy out over it. You know, all right, yeah, you might get annoyed, but it's just dealing with it in as best a way you can.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've talk about in terms of it's whether it's right for people or not. I think you probably have a higher ratio with young airsofters than most sites we go to. Is that do you put that down to anything in particular that you particularly do, or is that something that you're targeting, or
Yeah, not in any way. I think it's just organic, I guess. It just happens, but either they fit in with what we're doing, they live locally, we're easy to get to, or I don't know, they enjoy the style of games. I prefer shorter, intense games rather than right, you're going out for 2 hours, you're going to do this over there, and then you end up with half a team in the safe area and it just all goes to shit. Short, snappy games. I guess kids like that's what they used to with computer games. So that might be it, but again, I'm just completely guessing. It's not something I've even sort of noticed or thought about really. But they're very valid point.
Each one's, I think, yours.
We've tried some different styles of games, but some can run. It's been found the ones that fit in time wise. Especially a lot of sites don't do half days, so we have some people who are coming. So if you get your timings off, that knackers everybody's more the new people coming in. So what we've got at the minute does tend to work. If it's a quieter day and you've got a little bit of extra time, or one team beats another one particularly quickly, they'll sometimes roll a little fifth game in, something fun just to to finish off. Busier days we might run on a little bit just because it's harder herding. More people getting them out in the fields. There's always that one last one. Oh, I've just started marking up after having 6 fags and 10 cups of tea in between a game. But we've got to try our best to keep everybody going.
Exactly.
But and with the new areas, then we'll have to have a little think, see if we can try some new stuff come the better weather. And then roll that through the winter next year. We don't want it to be stagnant either, but it's got to suit. And then some people like the routine as well. We do find some people come at particular times in the day, just to play the specific game. So if we go moving things around, then that can upset people as well.
Yeah. I suppose that's a good thing about it is about management, isn't it? You've got to try and cater for the masses, and rather than trying to deal with one particular thing. But then it's finding a balance of routine. People know what they want and different things like that. So hats off to you for that. I mean, the event management side of it must be a completely difficult thing to do. Speaking of something new, I have commented on this. Have you brought like a new trailer for food and things like that? Is that another thing to kind of keep an eye out?
No, the old ones, old ones being replaced. It's there. Just sorting the logistics out, getting new power cables and water pipes and stuff put in for it. But hopefully we should be trying to move that into place next week. So and then Laura's gonna have a little look at doing some different menu stuff if you like more space. So
I think that's the thing. I mean, as long as there's a lot of progression and people are investing in the sites and moving things forward, then that gives other people something coming back to. Nothing worse than you go to a site and you can just see nothing's happened either over the winter or over a period of time, and it's in that decline. You've always got to try and put back into the site because they get a hell of a pasting and different things like that. I know obviously you're struggling with the mud and stuff at the moment, but you can't help irrigation, can you? It is where it is, and you can do the bits that you can.
It really has caught us. I'm usually one for over preparing and stockpiling stuff ready for winter, but it's completely gone beyond what we were expecting. But by next year we'll make sure we've got better drainage in. We've got hardcore stockpiled in different places that we're ready to go down when we need it.
Yeah, cool. Obviously, you're working with the suppliers and different like that. Cause obviously, we were comments on the fact that you stockpile the shop. Have you seen anything kind of on the market equipment wise, airsoft, that you think is quite exciting in terms of new technology? That
tell you what, I did think were really cool. Somebody came in with some of the new 40mm moss cart grenades. I think Ace something or other. They're like clear. They come with a speed loader that loads them in a second, and they don't. If you tip them around, the BBs don't all fall out. I mean, years ago they had those was it 40 mics came out and got banned because they were like a streamer BBs. The master mics came out that were quite good at throwing them out in a bit of a splatter. But I haven't heard of them for some years now. These and the ordinary Moscats, they're not the best, but these new ones seem really good. I think they're just over £100 for two and a speed loader, but a massive improvement. So it's nice to see somebody coming out with some new kit, and actually thinking about how it functions and stuff.
I think that the kit is all the fun. And I think, again, you're probably in a better position than I am to do this, but do you feel that it's that fun element you can have with Airsoft that possibly was limited in paintball? That's
there's
kind of
definitely a much narrower range of kit. But the kit that is there is some of it is really, really well developed. It'd be nice so a paintball loader for putting paintballs in has got a much harder job than an airsoft mag because it's your BBs aren't just going to shatter. You've got a real frangible object to get into the gun and out of the gun without it breaking. And there's some fantastic loaders on the market that do that. They tell you when they're running low. They've got a speed feed on the top to just tip your paint in and stuff. Airsoft's really lacking decent automatic feed, mags. It's the EMP mid caps, seem to be or EPM ones that seem to have gone down really well, as long as they're handled right. But drum mag wise, I think G&G seems to be about the best one, and they're quite basic really. It'd be nice to see somebody bring some out. Some of the new purpose-built HBA rifles are looking really nice, and the Speedsoft ones, they seem to be improving. So if you tailor that up with something that could actually feed the gun well, then that would be good to see. But I've not heard of anything in the making yet.
I think I run the G&G G-Mags with my MTW, and even the high caps now, I think the feed on them is absolutely brilliant for what they are. And one full wind will empty the mag as well. I think that kind of works out quite well. But you can't find them. Nobody's got them. I mean, they're £30 a piece, but you struggle to get hold of them.
Yeah,
well, I think that's the thing, and also everybody ridicules high caps because they rattle and stuff like that. But I actually don't think as long as you've wound them properly before you start using it, I don't think there's too much of a rattle in them. And
they're just not ninja enough. That's the.
That's the thing. I think it'd be interesting to see if Gate could actually come up with a decent mag, because they seem to be one of the forward drinkers in terms of the technology, like their new Pulsar engines for HBA and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see if they can actually do something. It seems to have done everything else, the hub up chambers and things like that. So it'd be interesting to see if they can actually come up with a solution for that. But
there's got to be, the money in the industry. It's got to be there for it. These new products that are selling out. It's hard to get older stuff. But I guess it just takes time.
Those things, when something's new, and like say, it's not just the UK, it's really grasping a global market now, isn't it? So a lot of supply either comes out of America or goes over there. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens with that. In terms of supply and stuff like that, if I was to ask you, if I was just starting in Airsoft, what would your number one choice be as a starter gun be for somebody?
Anyway, E4 or an Eve 9. I think for the money.
Okay.
The plastic body, but I wouldn't say that that should put anyone off. They're nice and nice, they're well made, they're strong, and they've got all the fancy internals of the higher range models. You've got quick change springs, decent range. They can handle high voltage batteries. For just over £200, there's not much else, in that price range. That's sort of entry level with everyone else. So I think they're some of the ones we sell the most of, and have very little problems with them.
Yeah. What do you use for your? I know you recently updated your rentals.
Yes.
Guns, didn't you? Yeah. What are you currently running for your rentals at the moment?
We use Vulcan. We've used Vulcans for years. I think they're the best value, and durability for a sort of slightly lower price bracket than the KWAs, and they're dead easy to strip. If you do have little issues, they come apart quickly, and they're easy to fix. They've got a nice little if the gearbox does lock up, there's a nice little slot in just at the back by the grip. You can pop a little screwdriver in, twist it, and boom, that's it, unlocks. A lot of guns that'd be a full strip down. Saves a lot of time. A ref can have a
Cool.
little screwdriver in their pocket and fix that.
Yeah.
Rather than having to completely strip the game, take the gearbox apart.
Yeah. Cool. Good.
So no, they've been grand.
Cool. Talking social media, I noticed you're having a bit of a push at the moment, sort of revamp your website, and I see the pictures on site and videos and stuff seem to be coming a bit thick and fast. Have you put a targeted plan into for social media, or is it just
honestly, months of planning? No, I'm really joking. Yeah, no, it's all on the fly. Amy's been doing a really good job with the Instagram. We were featured in the top 100 attractions in Wales book. You can buy it in Waterstones, and then off the back of that, we had a tourism grant towards the website. There were a few teething issues between booking systems, but we're back on the old one we used to use now, where it's slightly changed.
Yeah.
So apologies to anybody that's had the aggro there, but I think we're back there now. It's any issues with it, just got me a message. We're pretty laid back, we like people to let us know they come in. But we try not to turn anyone away either. But it's very hard to get your staffing ratios right if people don't book.
Well, no, it's one of those things. It's again comes back to event management, and you can do as much as you can. But customers are customers, aren't they? I'm the worst one for it, mate. I did it this weekend. I wasn't supposed to be playing, and then the weather dictated that our plans were cancelled, and that was it. I was out playing, so I hadn't told anybody I was going. It's just booked on, but it's one of those things. Before I let you go, because I know you got other things planned for this evening. Any shout outs or anything that you need to give to anybody?
Well, just thanks to all the players for sticking with us and keeping on coming every weekend, and thanks to our staff for all the hard work they put in. It's good to see like people voting for us last year. That was really good. We're not the biggest site. We try and do what we can with what we've got to keep it fresh and keep it interesting. So nice to see people appreciating it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, on that point, before I let you go, big sites, most of them don't get used. We go to some sites that are 80, 90, and they don't use 70% of the sites. It's those little gaming areas, and that's what we love about your places. It's not the smallest, but it's not the biggest, but it's those designated game areas, and you know what you're getting when you walk onto the field. And at the end of the day, it's a sport and it's a game. So thank you for taking the time to jump on the pod for us. It's very, very much appreciated. For those of you watching back home, thank you very much for tuning in yet again. I will be back next week with episode 9. Please make sure you hit the notification button, hit the subscribe button, and go and check out Outpost Chester on their social channels. I'll put the links in the comment sections below. And I will see you all next week. Thank you very much. Good night. God bless.
See you later.